All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, we are about to come on here and do a movie review for a movie that we just saw. But before I even begin, I want to say happy birthday to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., for it is his day, which is the reason why I am home and my son is out of school. But either way, we just got finished seeing this movie, and we decided that we were going to discuss our thoughts on the actual movie. So I would like to introduce to you Elements. Some of you already know him, but introducing Ninja Male.
Hello, guys. How was everyone?
Good, good. Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody in the chat. Okay. So, Ninja Male, do you want to go ahead and give them the disclaimer?
Yep, everybody, we are talking about the movie Megan. If you have not seen it yet, please go see it, then come back to this live.
All right. So let's get started on it. So, what did you think about the movie? Because I had no idea about it, and you were the one who suggested for us to go and see it today as our thing to do since I had the day off. So, how did you find out about the movie?
I found it, I found about it on TikTok
Okay. And what made you want to go and see it?
because everybody was talking about it. I thought it would be fun to see, and also I kind of like horror movies.
Okay. So, what was your first impressions from when we first got there?
At first, I was a little bit confused because when we got there, the movie was just about to start. And it started off with like a little commercial that was inside the movie, and I was confused for a minute until inside the movie it says something about like a dog dying for some reason, and then I realized, oh, this is the movie.
Yeah, I was confused as well because usually what we like to do when a movie time starts, there are like usually 20 minutes before the actual movie gets started. Okay, so I like to avoid all of that. I get irritated sitting through previews. So we have timed it to where we get there as soon as the actual movie itself start. Okay. So when we got there, it started off with a cartoon like a toy commercial. And I was thinking when I was looking at the toy, I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird, but it's kind of outdated at the same time. So I didn't know what was going on. And then it went on ahead and jumped straight into the movie. Okay. So what were your thoughts? Just what can you say overall? Because we discussed it in the car.
Well, to me, I really did like the movie. I think it was a 9 out of 10. The reason I say a 9 out of 10 is because to me the first part of the movie went pretty fast, and also the commercial was not that necessary. The movie could have gone on without that. And to me, some of the characters were kind of rushed and not given enough backstory because the course the aunt takes care of the little girl because her parents died in a car crash. I think we could have got some contacts on what the aunt is doing and a little bit more about her.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like the parents were off a little bit too early within the movie. I wish that we would have got a chance to learn more about them. And then also, too, if you paid attention throughout the movie, they barely mentioned them even after her the little girl was forced to go live with her aunt. Did you notice that they barely mentioned anything about them?
Yeah, and I understand that because to me, I think that okay, a little girl that's probably, I'm not sure her age, probably like 5 or a little bit under 7, just lost her parents, and her aunt gives her a doll and she's just all happy, sunshines and rainbows. Like, you just lost your parents and you're not talking about it. Sure, they had a couple scenes with her being sad and the aunt crying a little bit, but they could have shown a little bit more affection because a little girl just lost her parents and they're just acting like nothing happened and that she just going to go live with her aunt.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think from the aunt's point of view, though, because the aunt did not have children of her own and she had this busy career, I think that was, we did get a chance to kind of like see the struggle that the auntie was going through as far as her like almost becoming a parent overnight. And then, even though she kind of had a relationship with her sister, I think she was a single woman that was just so caught up in her career that she didn't get a chance to really bond, I guess. And again, she became a parent overnight. So it's her also not being able to truly deal with the grief of losing her sister, but also trying to see, I mean, not knowing how to be a parent, not knowing how to comfort her niece. But I did think that it was nice that she did make an attempt to at least get her niece counseling. Now, how did you feel about the therapist that was brought in?
About that therapist. Well, to me, she could have been a bigger part because we only saw her 2 times in the movie. Um, and also, I didn't really like her when I first saw her inside the movie. I don't really like her because she's like telling the aunt what to do. Not really like that.
Well, she did come off a little, I didn't like her when she first came into the movie, but I did kind of understand where she was coming from because the thing was she had to make sure that the niece was in the best environment possible because remember her dad's parents was, yes, Tiger Lily, perfect, yes, that's the perfect word. That's what I was looking for. She was very judgmental, but also too remember the parents, the her father's parents wanted her as well, so it was a toss up between the aunt and the father's parents who was going to get her. Okay, so yeah, I did kind of think, but I think she kind of came around to it. I think that she gave her great advice. What else in a movie caught your attention?
What caught my attention is really the doll, Megan. Um, I'm about to say something. I understand that the movie is basically about the doll because it's named after the doll, but we barely got to see the aunt a lot, but not enough. And
Well, see,
also, oh, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, babe.
And also, something else that I noticed is that I'm gonna go into the topic where you said about the dad's parents and then the aunt. Even though I know this is like a fake movie and not this wouldn't turn out how like a real life situation would turn out, but I think they also could have instead had the dad's parents take care of her, maybe instead of the aunt.
I think that that would have been a interesting plot, but I think because of the fact that everything centered around the aunt's creations, because that's just like, which is a point I wanted to bring up that you brought up that I did not realize because I was new to this movie, the whole thing. But I just realized when you said that, and you correct me, you said that the doll that was created, whose name was Megan, that was actually the dog that the niece had lost in the first place, which was the, I guess, the muse for the very first toy that was created. Is that what you're saying?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that because I didn't understand where the whole Megan name came from and everything. Okay, so yeah, but I thought it was interesting too that because I'm not going to say that. Well, no, the first toy that was created by the aunt's company, that's kind of like what caused the destruction. They did not go into detail about that because if you remember when they were in the car, even though, of course, it was the environment as far as Mother Nature that they were driving in that contributed to everything, the initial distractions and discussions started with them speaking about her being on that toy a little bit too long. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
Miss J.
um so I understand what you're saying, but to me what the parents were saying was not about the toy. They were saying about the laptop because the laptop was connected to a little toy that she had, and they were talking about her screen time, and that's how everything kind of started because she was on her screen too much. The toy fell. She unbuckled her seatbelt, got the toy. Then parents were talking. Car crash, something like that.
That's a great point that you brought up because you are right. Everything did start to kind of like go in a downward spiral because of them talking about her being on the screen. I mean, the iPad, because the iPad was connected to the actual toy, but I believe it was the father that may have said something about why can't she just play with the toy instead of being stuck on the screen? So, am I correct by picking that up?
I understand what you're saying, but what I remember from the movie, I think that's what the mother said and not the father. I think the mother was confused on why she was playing on the iPad instead of the toy, and also she was trying to still enforce the rule that the daughter should only have 30 minutes of screen time.
You're right about that. I just remembered that it was the mother who complained, and the father, he just was like, who cares? You know, and then that is when they started the argument about the weather and stuff, which I don't know why they were out in that weather anyway. But I do agree. I believe you said the point in the beginning that I feel like we should have got a chance to learn more about the parents. It just happened so quick.
You're right. And I understand they had to push in a little bit more screen time for the commercial to pop in there. But instead of that commercial, what they could have done is set up the part where they're leaving to go on that ski trip because they only said it inside the car and it was really like a quick thing about the ski trip. And if they didn't say that, we couldn't have known. So instead of them having that trailer, they could have shown the parents making the plan, saying, "Oh, it's snowy outside. Let's go on a ski trip." Having all that get pieced together instead of that trailer.
That's an excellent point. Now, what did you feel about Megan when you first saw her? What was your thoughts when she was presented?
Um, what do you mean by presented? Like, do you mean when she was all finished, or when they were just showing how she was built?
I mean, like after she was fully complete, like when she actually brought her to life.
Okay, so I was a little bit creeped out because I was like, that doll is very looks a lot like a little girl, and I was kind of scared about that. So I was like, oh my god, that girl looks like a little blonde girl, and I was confused, like, wow, she just looks a lot like a little girl.
Hey, everybody. Sorry. I didn't speak to all of y'all. Hey, Pizza. Hey, Tiger Lily, Francois, Miss J. Let me see who else in here. Purple Butterfly, Step Reeds, Miss Blackberry, Real Mamas, Nomi, Johnny Mac Sir, Rockstar Don, Beyond Beauty. Hey, y'all. Okay. Yes, she did. Yeah, she was like an Olsen twin. So we're just, if you're just getting in here, me and Ninja Male, who is my wonderful son, we are discussing our thoughts on the movie Megan. That is something we decided to do today since I had a day off for work, and he was out of school. So we decided to go check out a movie. So we're just giving our thoughts on it. Um, yeah, she creeped me out as well when I first saw her. She looked realistic, but she was kind of still like weird looking. But what really got me were her facial expressions just throughout the movie. Give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, you're right because since we're talking about a doll, I'm gonna bring in Chucky because in the first Child's Play movie, it showed how he was turning from a doll. His face was turning from doll more like human-like, and that's how Megan's face turned. Even though it still was like silicone, plastic, stuff like that, her emotions, I mean, her face emotions were kind of more human like during a movie. Like when it started turning from, oh, hi, I'm just a regular doll, until, oh, I'm a scary doll, I'm trying to kill you.
Yes, I definitely agree on that. I believe that when it could, because me and you spoke about in the car on our way back, we were talking about who would win. I know you presented a question to me. You asked me, who do I think would win between a battle between Chucky and Megan? And remember, I stated Megan because her facial expressions were more realistic. The way she spoke was more realistic, and she seemed to be even more sinister than Chucky. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is true. And I didn't even think about that question until I looked up Megan on YouTube and I saw a video about that. I didn't watch the video, but I was like, oh, let me ask my mom this because I personally think that Megan will win.
Okay, and so let's talk about the other person that was presented. The other, I think it was the original thing that she had already built, the big robot. Do you remember his name? And can you tell me what you remember about? Because I remember him. I remember how he looks. But can you go more into detail about the other one that was that she built first? Yeah, she was sassy and sinister.
Yeah, so what it said in the movie was that she built the robot during either, I think she said college or high school, maybe. The robot's name was Bruce, and it was like a really tall robot. It wasn't human like at all. It really did look like a robot, but it was like really big, and then it also had these gloves that the aunt can control the robot with. And that kind of shows what happens at the end of the movie.
Yes, and so what did you feel when you started to realize that I wouldn't say she started to malfunction as far as Megan, but when she started to not only give facial expressions, but actually be uncontrollable to where she actually started harming people and doing way more than what the aunt had programmed her to do.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring in Chucky this one last time. That 2019 reboot was kinda also an inspiration for this movie because in the 2019 reboot, Chucky wasn't originally bad, but he got turned bad. And in this movie, you missed a part, but this dog bit Megan and started like chow me biting her neck a lot. And I think that's what messed her up a little bit, messed her wires up, and I think that's what made her evil.
Okay, you're right. I did miss that part of the movie, guys, because when we had initially got there, we had went to go get our little, $1,000 popcorn. but they had no popcorn ready. And so we didn't want to miss the beginning of the movie. So in between that, I went and got us, our snacks and stuff like that. So I did go ahead and miss that part. So you're saying that the doll itself the doll Megan got bit by a dog. And that is when she started to act different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying because I'm not going to skip it to the end of the movie, but in the middle of the movie, you saw that the neighbor was looking for her dog, and that's how Megan got the neighbor and killed her. Because um, the little girl lost this bow and arrow thing, and there was a hole in the fence between the aunt's house and the neighbor's house. So Megan tried to go and get it, and the dog grabbed her hand and started pulling her inside the fence. That's how he started biting her and then bit her neck.
Okay, wow. So you just made me realize something. So I totally missed a very important part of the movie when I went to go get the popcorn. Because I was wondering when I came back when Megan went to go and attack. I was wondering where the dog was because remember when the niece first came to her aunt's home, it started out with the aunt going back and forth with the neighbor about, her dog coming into the yard and just neighborly things, an irritating neighbor. And I was wondering when I got back why first of all the dog was missing. I figured Megan had something to do with it. And I was wondering why Megan went and attacked that lady the way that she did. But now I get it. It's because the dog that actually bit Megan was the neighbor's dog. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay. So I want to go ahead and jump to the end of the movie. I did not like the way that it ended at all. I felt like they left out a lot. I feel like, what do you think about how the movie ended? Because I personally didn't like it. What were your thoughts?
I mean, I did like the end part because, like, we saw how the little girl learned from the aunt, like, how to use the robot. And basically, the robot basically destroyed Megan. Not really, but, you know, we were talking inside the car, and we were both talking about the ending could have been better because instead of it ending with like just nothing, just like this Alexa thing moving it and just moving, it could have ended off with something bigger, like how other movies do, like, oh, 2 years later, something, something, like showing that there could be a sequel or not. There could have been a lot more to that ending instead of just killing Megan, then having a little hint that she might, just might be alive.
I definitely agree with that. I liked the movie overall, but I do feel like the ending could have been better. The way they left it off, I did not like it at all. I felt like it could have been more. And when you mentioned in the beginning about different parts that we could have got more context to, I wish that we would have gotten more context to the niece, how she learned how to use the gloves that she ended up helping the robot to fight Megan off with. I would have wanted to know, did her aunt actually teach her how to use those gloves, like actually work with her on them? Or did she just observe her aunt? Or did she just start playing with them herself in between the times that her aunt was so busy trying to get the deadline for her job and also just trying to balance, doing her career and trying to raise her and basically, like I said, become a parent overnight? What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna take a little bit apart. I did kind of help you miss a little bit of the movie because I was kept asking you, "Oh, you like the movie so far? This and that, this and that. What do you think about this part?" And when the aunt first showed the little girl the robot, You could see that the aunt was telling the little girl, oh, how the gloves work, how it connects to the robot. And I think that's how the little girl learned.
Okay, that makes sense. And I see Tiger Lily. Hey, just lovely. Hey, Junji. Hey, Lady Bashua. And I see that Tiger Lily said they could have shown the little girl more socially adjusted and bonding with her aunt. I absolutely do agree with that. I think that is something that me and Melvin spoke about as well. And then you are agreeing with Melvin by saying that the aunt showed her in the beginning. Okay. Oh, and I think I actually do remember that part. I do remember that part that she did show her because that's when she first asked who the robot was or what was that. I think that was the first thing that caught her attention. And I kind of saw her like break a little open then. It's, when it came to that and stuff. Do you agree?
Yeah, and also I think that that part of the movie was a very important part because that's when a little girl said, "Oh, if I had a toy like this, I would I wouldn't be worried about anything. Now I'll just keep playing with it." And I think that's how the aunt had the idea. Oh, let me keep working on Megan and give it to my niece.
And you know what? That is exactly correct because initially, and I want to know if you agree with this. Remember when the niece first came in the room as the aunt was trying to hurry up and meet the deadline because her boss was basically threatening her and telling her you need to come out with an updated toy of the one that they had before, but it needs to be less as far as the cost because their competition had came out with one that was better, but it was a lower cost. And so remember the niece had brought a picture where she drew all these different heads. I was thinking initially that the aunt was going to draw inspiration from that picture and update it in that way. But you are right. Once the niece said that she would want to play with the robot, that's when the aunt did get the inspiration to start working with Megan, reworking on her again because remember she presented it to the boss, and you're right, Tiger Lily, the boss was horrible. But remember she presented Megan to the boss in the first place, but then the head ended up blowing off.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so as we come to a close, because I think we've discussed a lot of things, we spoiled some things, but I think we still kind of left some things to the imagination. What was your overall thought about the movie? If you can just give me just a little summary, and would you advise others to go and check it out?
I would advise others to go see the movie, but I would tell them to be hyped but not too hyped. Like keep their emotions, like don't get overly excited because this movie is fun, good. You can let me look at it like multiple times and like it a lot, but it's not to the point where it's like super good and amazing and everybody will love it. Like only some people will like it.
Okay, Tiger Lily. Hey, Teeny B. And Tiger Lily brought up a great question. She wants to know what do we think about the dance that Megan did? That's something else we discussed in the car, remember?
Yeah, that dance was everywhere when the first trailer started. Um, when you see me, at first when I first saw it, it was pretty funny. But since I kept seeing it, I got bored of it. So when I saw it in the movie theater, I was like, oh, this is just regular dance. I don't really care about it that much. But it was pretty funny.
So basically you saying that you wasn't impressed by the time you actually seen it because you had kind of like saw little things of it. And I'm quite sure that it ended up being a challenge on TikTok.
It wasn't really a challenge. It was kind of like a meme because people just kept reenacting the dance, like the Wednesday dance. People keep reenacting that, and it's blowing up on TikTok. Before Wednesday came out, of course, um, Megan was that. I mean, the Megan dance was really that dance.
Okay. Tiger Lily laugh. Okay, well, me, what I thought about the movie, I thought it was good. But I do agree with you, it was nothing to write home about. You don't have to rush out and see it. I mean, it was okay. I don't feel like my time was wasted, so I didn't have an issue with going and seeing it. But I do agree that it's not worth the super hype, and it's either you were going to like it or you're not. And so that's what I feel about that. But to everybody, oh, go ahead, Melvin, go ahead, boo.
You're right. And also, I think that maybe if it was longer, it could have been way better. Like, I understand that this is like a new movie and they don't have a lot of money to use on the movie because no one's seen it yet. But I think I think it just could have been longer and could have been better than what it came out to be.
I agree. I agree. Hey, Queen V Tut. Well, thank you everyone for joining me and Ninja Mail for our movie review. We like to do this when we go and see movies. We definitely will be going to see more, and we will be coming with more reviews when we can. But yeah, we usually go see movies and we like to discuss it. And we'll even discuss some things that we watch on regular TV, as far as like the movies on the different apps and stuff that we have. Is there anything that you want to say to the elements before we get out of here?
Yes, I would like to say please like and subscribe. Also, you might hear my voice on my mom's new podcast because I will be doing the intro. So please, everybody, like, subscribe, and just have a good day. Have a good day off and have fun.
Thank you so much for that, son. Yes, what he is mentioning is on the LQ experience, which I am still working on the episode. I had him record the intro that will be on each episode. If you have not subscribed to the LQ experience channel, please make sure you do so. And like I said, I'm taking it one broadcast at a time, but I thought that it would be cool to incorporate him into it, even though I will be speaking about, of course, adult subjects. But I just had him say the name of the podcast and, ask everybody to follow because at the end of the day, he is a part of me and in the different ventures that I try, different things that I present to you all, which I thank all of you for your patience. And again, like I'm going to always tell you, just being along for the journey with anything that I like to try. I put the fact that I am a mother in it, and no matter what anybody says or how they feel, if I can incorporate him in a way that is not detrimental to him, I am definitely going to do that because I am also teaching him so that when he gets of an age that I feel he is ready, because he does have dreams of doing his own broadcast. It is not only my way of us doing something together, but also preparing him for what his role will be once I feel like he is old enough to maintain his own platform. Okay. So thank you all so much. Have a lovely night. We about to relax and chill because I got work. He got school in the morning. Y'all have a blessed one and thank y'all for joining us. Can I put the link in the chat? Okay, let me see. Do I still have the link in the let me see. Hold on, Tiger. Let me see if I even got it. Um Wait, what you can do is Tiger Lily, if you go on my community feed, just roll down my community feed and you'll see the link to the LQ experience. And if you don't get a chance to see it tonight, when I post my next episode, I'll make sure that I actually share it to the community wall and stuff. Because I can't, I'm doing this off my cell phone and I don't have the link copied, which I know that I should. But yeah, I'll make sure that you do eventually get it. But yes, everybody, please have a lovely night. Thank you for joining us and bye.